Hey everybody, welcome to my channel. My name is Teresa, and today I'm going to be going over my TBR for the Cryptid Creatures Readathon 2.0. Hey everyone, so first off, I don't have a microphone on me. It is upstairs, and I just don't want to go up there and get it. I am being lazy today. So apologies if you can't hear me as well, or if the outside sounds are more intense than normal, but I just gotta get this video filmed. This is my fourth attempt at this video. I just have not been happy with anything I've been putting out lately, so we're just gonna go with it. I don't care how the quality is, we're just gonna go with this one. For those of you who don't know, the Cryptid Creatures Readathon, or the CCR, is a readathon that I run that is basically mixing my love of cryptids and my love of reading. It takes place during the entire month of September. I will link all the information down in the descriptions below so you can go check it out. I will say that we definitely need more people on Team Bigfoot, so if you are still considering joining, please do consider joining Team Bigfoot, as they are a bit smaller, which is fine at the end of the day if more people join Chupacabra, which is my team. So I'm not mad about y'all joining my team, but we gotta give my co-host Nala some love. If you still decide to join my team, that's fine. But if you're debating between the two, do think about joining Team Bigfoot, because they could definitely use some love. The points are average though, so even if their team is way smaller, or if vice versa, their team grows like crazy all of a sudden, it doesn't matter, because the points are averaged between the players, so each team has an equal chance of winning. I just wanted to say that, they're needing some love over on Team Bigfoot, so definitely think about joining them if you are up in the air about which team to join. Okay, again, if you want any more information regarding this readathon, description, check it out. You don't have to know about cryptids to participate. It's just the theme, but you don't have to know anything about them. So here is our bingo board, and the way this works is you can either do the cryptid route or the prompt route. So you have the option to either read a book about a cryptid, the cryptid listed, or you have an option. Sorry, Ranger was just smelling a dandelion. It was really freaking cute. Okay, or you can do the cryptid or you can do the prompt. It's up to you, whichever one you want to do. I personally am going to try and read as many cryptid books as I can, because I just love cryptids, but I'm definitely going to be doing some prompts as well. My goal is 100% going to be to black out this board. Will that happen? 50-50 chance, guys. I don't know if it's going to, but I'm gonna do my best. One more thing before I get into what I'm reading. Sorry, I know, there's a lot. We do have team prompts. Chupacabra's team prompt is to read a book with GOANT, which spells goat, somewhere on the cover of the book. Team Bigfoot's prompt is to read a book that is at least partly set in a forest. These are not mandatory. They are 100% optional, but they do gain your team extra points. So if my book counts for goat on the cover, I'll just put a check mark or something, so I don't have to remember to tell you every time, because in previous videos I keep forgetting. And like I said, I'm not refilming this. If my book fits the prompt, there'll be a check mark on screen. If not, there won't be. Pretty simple. Okay, so the very first prompt, the very first square we have is the Loch Ness Monster, and the prompt for this is to read a TBR veteran. So I am going the cryptid route with this one, and I'm going to be reading Death in Door County by Annalise Ryan. This is book 1 in a monster hunting mystery, and you guys might be able to see on the spine there that there's a little Nessie. And there's one here too, but the library sticker is covering it. Anyways, this is what I'm reading. This is a murder mystery. I think it's more cozy mystery, technically. It says a Wisconsin bookstore owner and cryptozoologist, so she's an owner and also a cryptozoologist, is asked to investigate a series of deaths that might just be proof of a fabled lake monster. So we're going to be researching to see if there is a Loch Ness monster in this lake. It's in Wisconsin, so I don't know if it's actually Nessie or not. It could be Champ. Champ is from Lake Champlain. I can't speak today. He is basically Nessie's cousin or brother or whatever, but he, according to the cover and everything, it looks like a Loch Ness monster, so I'm going to count it for the prompt. Next up, we have the Orangutan deck, and this is to read a book under 300 pages. So if you read a book that has 299 pages, you're good. If you read a book that has 300, it won't count. The book I'm going to be reading for this, I think, only has like 49 pages, so it's definitely counting. And that is going to be Genesis by Michael C. Grumley. This is a sequel to his Breakthrough series, and this series follows a scientist and a special ops military guy, and the scientist has created a device that allows her to communicate with dolphins. And I don't mean communicate with dolphins like we communicate with dolphins right now. I mean they can literally translate human speech into dolphin speech and dolphin speech into human speech. So you can have an actual conversation with said dolphins. And it is fascinating. It is such a good book, like such a good series. And this is a prequel. It just got added to my library, so I'm going to be reading this. I'm very excited. This one, we are following the scientist before, like, this is how the machine came to be, or how the idea came to be, or something like that. It's a short story. It's a novella. It's not going to be very intense or long, but I'm excited for it because it is a part of this series. So then we have the Mothman, and for the Mothman, the prompt is to read a 5-star prediction. Once again, I'm going to go the cryptid route with this one, and I'm reading Mothman's Curse. This is by Christine Hayes, and the pictures are by Jane K. Hindle. This is a middle grade book following a young girl and her siblings. They live in America's most haunted town, or the most haunted town in America, and her parents own a auction house. So they see a lot of weird things come through, as you would if you owned an auction house and, you know, living in a haunted town. Well, her and her brothers discover a Polaroid camera that prints pictures of a ghost. And so they're trying to figure out what's going on, because there ends up being a mystery that involves a desperate spirit, cursed jewelry, natural disasters, and the horrific specter of the Mothman. So, quite excited to read this. Then we have the Rougarou. Sorry if anything changed, guys. I accidentally locked my dad out front. So, hearing the ring doorbell, and I had to go rescue him. I let him back inside because I didn't realize he was outside when I locked the door. I believe we were talking about the Rougarou, and the Rougarou's prompt is to read a translated book. I am once again going the cryptid route with this one, and I'll be reading A Howl, an indigenous anthology of wolves, werewolves, and Rougarou. This is a graphic novel anthology. Hey, woodpecker, knock it off! You aren't talking to you. Hang on, guys. There's a woodpecker on my house. Yo, bird. What are you doing? What are you doing? Hello, you're so cute though. You guys, everything is happening today. Holy crap, that was an adorable little woodpecker. Anyways, as I was saying, we have A Howl. And this is edited by Elizabeth Lapince. It's all about werewolves and the Rougarou. There's definitely at least one Rougarou story in here, so I'm excited for that one. Moving on down to row number 2 is actually really exciting, because this one is The Squonk. And the prompt for The Squonk is to read an emotional book. I know when you say emotional, most people, including myself, instantly go to sad book. But that's not the prompt. The prompt is not a sad book, it's an emotional book. And emotions, there's lots of emotions. Apologies if you hear a vacuum cleaner. One time, I don't bring my microphone, is the one time everything makes noise. So the emotion I'm gonna go with is joy. I am going to read a book that's gonna bring me joy. And that book is A Most Agreeable Murder by Julia Seals. Look at this book, you guys. Oh my gosh, this is a reread for me. I was going to read book 2, but it's been a while since I read the first one, and I really wanted to remember all the little details before I get into book 2. But I'm not kidding you guys when I say that this book had me laughing out loud within the first few pages. Like, actually, literally, physically laughing out loud. It was so funny. This is one of the funniest books I have read. And this book it takes place in the town of Swampshire. So, I mean, even just that. There's radioactive frogs, which you might be able to see on the cover. Those frogs are radioactive. And this is kind of a spoof on Regency era. It kind of plays off of Pride and Prejudice as well as Sherlock Holmes. So our main character, Beatrice, is obsessed with true crime. She wants to be a detective. She loves learning about forensics and all of the things, but that is super scandalous because she's supposed to be a lady. And like kind of the family dynamics reminds me a lot of the family dynamics in Pride and Prejudice. So it's quite hilarious. So anyway, the family goes to this ball, and the host, I think, or someone at the ball is murdered. And so her and a detective have to kind of team up and solve who murdered them. And I will say that there is also possibly a cryptid in this book. There was definitely some hints to some things that I'm like, is that what I think it is? I hope the storyline is furthered in book 2, but I will say that there is definitely the possibility of a cryptid in this book, so it's just perfect. Next up on the list is the Thunderbird. And the Thunderbird's prompt is to read a book that features folklore or mythology. I'm choosing to read Fear the Drowning Deep by Sarah Glynn Marsh for this prompt. This is a young adult book, historical fiction, and it takes place on the Isle of Man in 1913. We're following our main character who, when she was a child, she watched her grandfather throw himself off the cliffs into the ocean with a smile on his face. And she believes that he was lured there. Now that she's older, some bodies start washing up on shore, and she believes that whatever took her grandfather is back to take the rest of the island. So she's trying to figure out what the heck is happening. And to me, that screams sirens. So I don't know if there's gonna be sirens in here, but like there's obviously something going on. And because we are 1913 Isle of Man, I feel like there's going to be some kind of Celtic mythology or folklore happening within the story. So this is what I'm reading for that book. Or for that prompt. After that, we have the Yeti, and the prompt for this one is to read a hyped book. So I'm going to be reading the book Magpie Murders by Anthony Horowitz. This is a book that was like super hyped a few years ago, and it's starting to make its rounds again. I've recently seen some people talking about this, so I'm really excited to get this one on the list. This is a book within a book type of murder mystery. It might even be a book within a book within a book, which I don't know. But like I'm excited for it either way. We're following a character who is a book editor, and she receives a manuscript from one of her authors and is expecting it to just be, his normal run-of-the-mill murder mystery. So that's why you have the book within the book, because the main character is reading the manuscript. But within the manuscript, there seems to be things happening that maybe there's like a book hidden within the manuscript. It's a little bit darker than normal, and just some weird stuff is going on. So at least that's my understanding of it. I'm really excited for this. I've heard amazing things about this book, and I'm happy to finally get it on my list, or on my TBR is what I mean. Anyways, after the Yeti comes the Kraken, and the prompt for the Kraken is to read a nautical themed book. The book I'm choosing actually is exciting because it does fit both the cryptid prompt and the prompt, and that's Tentacles by Roland Smith. This is book 2 in the Marty and Grace, I believe that's what it's called, series, and book 1 is called Cryptid Hunters. In this series, we have twins, brother and sister, Marty and Grace. For reasons that play out in book 1, they end up going to live with their Uncle Wolf, and they've always known their Uncle Wolf is a veterinarian, but what they didn't know was that Uncle Wolf is a veterinarian for cryptids. And so in the first book, they end up going to the Congo to try and find the Mekele Mekembe, which is a dinosaur-like cryptid. And in book 2, Tentacles, Marty, Grace, Wolf, and one of Marty's friends are going down off the coast of New Zealand to try and find a mysterious squid-like creature that some are saying might be a kraken. We also have Wolf's arch nemesis in here, who they are trying to race to get to the kraken first, because he's a really bad dude and he does not have good plans for said cryptids. So there's like a bit of a mystery and a bit of an adventure involved in this too. And because this does have a squid, a giant squid, possibly a kraken, it fits the kraken prompt, and they're also on a ship. And you can even see on the cover, there's a ship. They're on the ocean off the coast of New Zealand. So it works for nautical theme too. So I'm excited that I could get one that actually counts for both. Speaking of the South Pacific, the next prompt is the Bunyip. And that is to read a book by an Australian author. So that one is New Zealand, Australia, but I know they're kind of like, they're buddies. So for this prompt, I'm going to be reading The Stranger Upstairs by Lisa M. Matlin. The author of this book is actually from Melbourne, so she is Australian, so it will count for this prompt. This is a Book of the Month edition that I have had since September of 2023. I'm glad to finally get it on a TBR so I can hopefully read it this month. This says, a gruesome history, a hostile neighborhood, a new owner with a shocking secret. Welcome to Blackwood House. So this is like more of a psychological thriller or a horror thriller from my understanding. We're following our main character, who is a psychiatrist and a self-help lady, and she moves into this house and she gets it super, super cheap, and she plans on fixing it up. But the reason why she got it super, super cheap is because it's a murder house. The family that lived there before were murdered. And so she's like, whatever, I don't care. I'm going to get this house for cheap and fix it up. And apparently she has a dark secret as well. And while she's doing renovations, weird things start happening, as they would, you know? I don't know if this is like a haunted house or if it's more just psychological. But either way, I'm really excited to get to this and read a spooky book in the month of September. And you can see on the cover right there, we do have a stranger upstairs. So I'm hoping that this one is good, but it counts for the Bunyip prompt. After Bunyip, we have the Mapunguri. I don't know if I'm saying that correctly or not. And the prompt for this is to read a slow-paced book. So for this one, I'm reading another book by an Australian author. And this one is Exiles by Jane Harper. This is book 3 in the Aaron Folk mystery series. I read the first 2 earlier this year, and so I'm really, really excited to be finishing out the trilogy with Exiles. These are definitely books that you can read as standalone. They're like interconnected standalones. I just prefer to read books in order. That's just my preferred way of doing things. But you can read them in any order. So anyways, we're following Aaron Falk. He is a financial crimes detective. And in book 3, he ends up going to his friend's, I don't know if it's like his friend's baby shower or like the birthday party for the kid or something like that, but something that has to do with his friend's kid. And he goes to this small town, and while he's there, he discovers that there is a missing persons case. About a year ago, a mother was at some, I think she's like an affair or something like that. She put her baby in the stroller, like tucked them all in nice, and disappeared. And she hasn't been seen since. So Aaron gets wrapped up into this missing persons case to figure out, you know, did she leave voluntarily? Did someone take her? Did something happen to her? And the story unfolds from there. So I have very much enjoyed these, and they are definitely more of a slower paced mystery. So I am very excited to get to this book and finish out this trilogy. Then we have the Fresno Nightcrawler. And the prompt for this is read a book at night. So you can read any book you want for this. It just has to be during the nighttime hours. So the book I'm choosing to read for this is The Day Human Prince by B. Kristen McMichael. This is book 1 in the Day Human trilogy. This is a fairly short book, so my plan is to read a few chapters every night in the month of September to be able to fulfill this prompt. So it says, to undo their spell, Devin Alexander and Vanessa McKinney travel to the mysterious and magical land of the Side. And David is the only day human in a world of night humans who drink blood. So like vampires. His whole life he's trained to protect this one girl, this one night human, but she doesn't need him anymore, and he is so upset because he's been pining over here for years. And somehow he ends up in trouble with another group of night humans, and Vanessa puts a spell on him to save his life, but in doing so ends up bonding the two of them together. And neither of them want to be bonded together, so they have to try and break said bond. This is young adult paranormal, from my understanding, so I'm sure there's going to be some romance in here. I'm a little bit cautious about this, but I need to get it read. It's also on my 26 by 26. It's the book I need to read anyways, and yeah, I'll be reading this at night. to fulfill this prompt. Then comes the Nandi Bear, and this prompt is read a book with an animal on the cover. So for this one, I'm going to be reading the book Moo by Sharon Creech. And as you guys can see, there is a cow on the cover, so it works. And I'm really excited for this one. This is a middle grade. And I mean, guys, the title is Moo and there's a cow on the cover. Like, come on. This book is actually a mixture of prose and poetry, so I'm excited to see what I think about it. And we are following a young girl and her family who move from the big city to rural Maine. And I think they're living like on the coast. And so she's expecting like, oh, lobster dinners and days at the beach and all of this stuff. But her parents volunteer her and her brothers to work for their neighbor's farm. They're quite eccentric neighbor. And on this farm, there are lots of little farm animals, including a very stubborn cow. And so throughout the story, she is basically learning how to befriend this cow. And I know there's some sort of like life lesson here, like most middle grades. I don't know what that's going to be. Something that has to do with friendship, I'm sure. I will tell you after I read the book. But I'm really excited for this because I think this sounds absolutely adorable. All right, guys, we are on the very last row of the bingo board. So first up, we have The Flatwoods Monster, and this is to read a book that is out of this world. This can mean a few different things. You can read a sci-fi, you can read a fantasy, something that's literally out of this world, an alternate universe, something like that. Or you can read a book that is out there, that is crazy, that is wild, that is like just weird. However you want to interpret it is totally up to you. I personally am interpreting this as a sci-fi. So the book I'm reading for this is Network Effect by Martha Wells. This is the 5th book in the Murderbot series, and I am so excited to get to this one. This is the first full-length novel in the Murderbot series, and from what I've heard, we have a character that I believe was introduced in book 2 returning, and I'm so freaking excited. Like, I can't wait because I loved this character. If you guys are unfamiliar with the Murderbot series, the first book is All Systems Red, and we are following a sec unit, which is basically a killing machine, a robot that's whole purpose is to protect its clients, but they hack their governor module and go rogue, and they call themselves Murderbot. But Murderbot is not interested in murdering anybody. All they want to do is be left alone to watch their soap operas. So in the first book, we are following Murderbot as they are hired by basically a group of hippies, and they have to protect them and try not to get found out, because if they're found out, they will be destroyed. And it is just absolutely hilarious. Like, literally all they want to do is watch the soap operas, and they're like, please don't bother me, human. Let me watch my shows. It's absolutely hilarious, but it's like a heartwarming, and there's so much to these series that I just absolutely adore. So I'm very excited to finally be moving on and getting to the next in the installment. After that comes The Jackalope, and this one is to read a book set in North America. For this one, I'm happy to say that I am doing the cryptid route, and I'll be reading On the Trail of the Jackalope, How a Legend Captured the World's Imagination and Helped Cure Cancer by Michael P. Branch. So this is a nonfiction, and I'm quite curious to see how the jackalope helped cure cancer, because I don't know of a cure for cancer. So I'm curious what that actually means and how the jackalope brought that out. But I'm excited to be reading a nonfiction this month and learn about the jackalope, because I think it's a fascinating creature. After jackalope comes Mongolian deathworm, and the prompt for this is to read a low-rated book. Now, this can mean either anything a 3.5 or lower on Goodreads, or anything with less than 1,000 ratings on Goodreads. The book I'm going to be choosing for this is Zion Gold Rush, and this is by C.R. Fulton. While this does have a 4.27 star on Goodreads, it only has 324 reviews. So it definitely counts as low rated because it has way less than 1,000 reviews. This is book 3 in the Campground Kids series. This is a cute little middle grade. We're following Isaiah and his family as they decide to go camping. They want to camp at all the national parks in the United States. And that is just a dream for me. Like, that is I'm living vicariously through these books because I would love to be able to say that I've gone to all the national parks. Like, oh my gosh. This one, they're going to Zion National Park, and we have a legend of a hidden gold mine. And so our main character and his sister and his cousin, they are on the hunt for said gold mine, and each book does in some way involve an animal that is like known to be in that park. The first book involves a wolf, the second book involves bears, and the third book, I'm just going to assume by what is on the cover, that it somehow involves a bighorn sheep. So I'm very excited for this. This is a very cute book, or very cute series so far. I mean, I've only read the first two, but I really enjoyed it. And I know there's going to be some crazy hijinks that these kids get up to, so I'm very excited to learn what they are in this one. Okay guys, and we've made it to the end of the bingo board. So the very last square on the bingo is the skunk ape, and the prompt for that is to read a book that you've been avoiding. And this one works so perfectly because I've been actively avoiding this. I keep looking at it on my shelves and I'm like, I'm not going to read that. So now I am. And that book would be Your Blood, My Bones by Kelly Andrew. Now the reason I've been avoiding this, you guys, is because I've already read 2 books by this author and I didn't like either of them. This is very much well, hopefully it's going to be a 3rd time's a charm. If not, it's going to be a 3 strikes you're out. So this is going to tell me whether or not this author is for me. Concept has been great. Execution, not so much. For me personally. In this one, we are following a girl named Wyatt. She just inherits a farmhouse that's been in her family for many a generation, and she plans to burn it to the ground. While doing her last walkthrough, though, she finds her childhood best friend chained up in the basement of said farmhouse, and discovers that he has had hundreds of ritualistic deaths on this property. And the only way that he can break this cycle is to kill the last living member of the family, which is Wyatt. It does sound really good. Very gothic, very spooky. Again, though, her books have always sounded great to me, but the execution, or the endings really, just don't do it for me. So I'm really hoping this is 3rd time's a charm and not 3 strikes you're out. But I've definitely been avoiding it, so it's just time I get it done and read it, and we'll find out if this author is for me or not. Okay, everybody, here is the stack of books. This is not even all of these books, but here is a chunk of the books that I'm hoping to read in September. There are 16 books in all that I have on my TBR. Can I read 16 books in September? Yes, I can. I've done it before. Will I read these 16 books in September? That's the question that we will find out at the end of the month. So anyways, this is my TBR for the CCR. I am really excited for this, and I think we're gonna have a blast, you guys. So if you are still on the fence about joining, again, please check out the description, watch the announcement video, check out the G Drive, all of the things, and hopefully you decide to join, because I think we're gonna have so much fun this month. Thank you for watching, you guys. I really appreciate each and every one of you. If you like this video, I'd appreciate a thumbs up. Make sure that you subscribe if you haven't already. I recently hit 500 subscribers, and I have something really exciting in the works, like as a celebration, and just like also thank you so much to all of you. Let's see. You can leave a comment in the emoji if you want. You can leave an emoji in the comment is what I meant to say. If you want to just let me know that you were here, but you didn't, like, don't have anything else to say. What should we leave? What should we leave? Go ahead and leave your favorite animal emoji in the comments down below, because we are talking about cryptids, and in my opinion, most cryptids are just misidentified animals. So leave your favorite animal emoji in the comments, or if you want to say hi, let me know your thoughts on any of these books, whether or not you're joining in. Feel free to do that too. I really hope that September is amazing for all of us. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope to see you in my next video, and happy cryptid hunting. Bye!